Okay, today we are going to take the Unit 8 test. But before you take the test, we're going to just review a little bit. When I actually took this test yesterday, well, Friday, I mean, and one of the things I noticed was that this unit test covers both multiplication and division, but the multiplication is most of the beginning of the test, and there's actually more multiplication than division. So I don't think this will be tougher than the division test that you just took. And I'm sure you did great on that division test. So we're doing Unit 8 test. It should be in your packet for Monday, May 11th, which I forgot to put the date on that first slide, but we'll make sure it's on the PowerPoint itself. Okay? Okay, so it's going to start out with some word problems in multiplication. Jack has several pets. He has 4 kinds of pets, 3 pets of each kind. What number sentence will give you the product? So I know Mrs. Lopez's students have a really good habit of circling the numbers that are in the word problem, and then that helps you to figure out what the math sentence is that you need. Make sure you write that math sentence on your test, because if you do, you'll get extra credit points. So this is the product right here, 12. And one of the things we're going to talk about today is, remember, the word product means what is the answer to a multiplication problem. Okay, next problem. Okay, so you're going to see some questions that have these charts like this. Remember, the key to answering these questions is look where it says 1. So in one pack, there are 4. So basically what that means is we're multiplying by 4. So when you get to the end of this chart and it has 4, your multiplication sentence is really going to be 4 times 4. So what numbers will you be dealing with? Let's see if it comes up. 4 and 4. So if you multiply those two, 4 times 4, your answer should be 16. And there's your math sentence that you write on your test. 4 times 4 equals 16. Now, some of you might have gotten a PowerPoint that has a little bit different slide with different numbers. That's okay. It's still going to be the same idea. And by the way, this is not the question that's on the test, because I always change it up a little bit. Okay? Okay, so remember that we're going back to the concept of an array. So on this array, they have this grid for you, but then they put circles to give you the array itself. So it says, which number sentence shows this array? Now remember, rows go across, and rows are the equal groups. So if we looked at this, we would say 1, 2, 3 equal groups, and then we're going to look at the columns to see how many in each group. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Obviously, if we're talking about an array, we're talking about multiplication. This whole test is multiplication and division. So if you see addition, you could even X those out, because that's not going to be the answer. So now I'm down to 2 multiplication answers. One is 4 times 3. Well, that doesn't make sense because there's not 4 equal groups. So it's really 3 equal groups times 5. So the answer is right there in the middle at the bottom. D, 3 times 5. And they don't even ask you what the product is. They just want to know what is the number sentence. Okay? So here's another word problem. Jerry had 5 packs of cherries. Each pack has 8 cherries inside. In this multiplication problem, what is the product? Do you remember what product is? Okay, so 5 times 8 is the problem. I'm going to circle the numbers, and then I'm going to skip count by 5 8 times. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. So there's my 8. 8 times 5 is 40. There it is. Okay, next slide. Oh, wait. Don't forget, the answer to a multiplication problem is called the product. They use that word over and over again in the test. They don't say, what is the answer? They say, how do you find the product, or what is the product? So just be aware of that. Okay, Jill adds to find the sum, which shows how to find the product. This question is identical to one of the questions you'll have on the test. So don't get confused by this. Yes, this is adding, and we know that the word sum is the answer to an addition problem. So 3 plus 3 plus 3 equals 9. They just want to know how you're going to get the same thing if you multiply. So this can't be the answer, this can't be the answer. It has to be between these two. There are 3 equal groups of 3, so your multiplication problem should be C, 3 times 3. That's all you need to know. You don't circle 9. I don't even think 9 is an option. Okay, this is very similar to the division problems that you had on that test 22. 21 flowers, 7 groups. That's all it says. So you have to realize, okay, I'm going to start with 21. That's my big number that I start with, and I'm splitting it into 7 equal groups. So basically, it's 21 divided by 7. And I know skip counting by 7 is a little tough, but you can do it. 7 plus 7 is 14. 14 plus 7 is 21. So let's see what our answer is. Remember, write the division problem on the test and you get extra credit. 21 divided by 7 equals 3. So you need to have this written on there and you get your 2 or 3 extra points. So that's a good thing. 18 flowers, 3 groups. You're going to do the same thing, only now you're going to be skip counting by 3. Push the button in once for me. Remember, write the division problem on the test. 18 divided by 3 equals 6. It's as easy as that. Okay, next slide. Okay, this one. Joe subtracts 5 to divide by 5. So you remember we had a problem like this on the division test, and they have a number line, and usually what we would say is look at the largest number, and that tells you what you're dividing by. On the unit test, it's a little bit different. What they've done instead is they have a number line. It's not like this, but then I think the numbers are pretend, say like 16, and the next one is 18, the next one's 20, okay, like that. But they want you to start at 16. It's not really 16. I'm just making it up. But this is the good thing. They have the division problem on the test. So if you want to ignore the number line and ignore this, not a problem. And they go like this, 16 divided by 2, or something like that. And your answer would be 8. Okay? So the one with the number line on the test, they're kind of making it a little different. Just look for the number sentence. Just answer the number sentence. You'll be fine. So this one was 35 divided by 5 equals 7. Okay. Next slide. There's only one like that, by the way. Okay, remainders. And this is how it's written on the test, which is different than we've seen before. Start with 15. Make 4 equal groups. How much is the remainder? So you're going to write this 15 divided by 4, and then you need to figure out what this is going to be. So remember from yesterday, or from last Friday, sorry, that we're going to multiply times 4, or skip count times 4, and we're going to end up with a number that is not bigger than 15. So let's go ahead and do that. 4, 8, 12, 16. Oh, wait a second. We can't use 16 because that's bigger than 15. So we're going to go back. 4, 8, 12. So 12 is the number we have to go by, and 3 fingers are up. So that means 15 divided by 4 is 3. Then I'm going to do my multiplication problem. 3 times 4 is 12. And I'm going to write 12 there, and I'm going to subtract. 15 take away 12, 5 take away 2 is 3. So let's see what comes up. Whoopsie. You're back in. You're good. Okay, so that is right. 15 divided by 4 equals something, and we came up with 3, and the remainder is 3. Now you might look at that and say, well, wait a minute. That's 3, and that's 3. It's just a coincidence. That's all it is. It's not a math thing. Okay, here's a new one. 12 divided by 7. So 12 divided by 7. So some number times 7 is going to come really close to 12 without going over. Not that hard. We're going to skip count by 7. 7, 14. Oh no, we just went over, so we can't use 2. We can only use 1. So 1 times 7 is 7, and then we're going to subtract. 12 take away 7 is 5. Let's see what happens. There's 7. There's 1. 5. We did it right. Excellent. Okay, here's another one. Last one, I think, like this. We're going to start with 18, make 5 equal groups. So 18 divide by 5. Let's see, 5 times something comes really close to 18 without going over. Skip counting by 5. They do that in first grade, right? 5, 10, 15, 20. Oh, we went over. So just 3. 3 times 5 is 15. I write 15 here. I subtract. I get 3, and my remainder should be 3. So let's see what happens. 18, 5, 3, 3. 3 again. Okay, great. Next problem. We're done. So here's the thing. The last part of your math assignment for today, after you take the Unit 23, I think, Unit 22, or after you take the Unit 8 test, sorry, I get mixed up by numbers sometimes, then the last part is 20 minutes of GD. So do your best, make sure you check your test, put your name on your paper, have your mom or dad or someone look at every single page to make sure you answered every single problem. Thank you. Do your best. Happy Math Monday. Have a good day.